Hey everyone, so for today we're going to be talking about how to improve your left and right downwards cuts. So I like to think that I've got a pretty consistently good downwards cut, but recently that I've been diving into some Japanese swordsmanship, and if you look at my downwards cuts, then I come from a pretty long form. So I've got my arms extended like this, and I cut downwards, and most of the cutting is done by the shoulders. But in the Japanese forms, then they try to shorten that motion, so they try and come from here. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. The first is that you've got a shorter path from the tip of your sword to your opponent, to your target, and so then it happens faster with a lot less time in between the start of the motion and the end of the motion. And another reason is that from up here, there's a lot of me exposed that can be attacked. And so then from here, it's easier to come to a defensive position, and there's also just a lot less of me that can be targeted. Now, after I've been practicing cutting from here, then I've had a lot of trouble with my left and my right downwards cuts. They just haven't been cutting very cleanly. And so I've been watching a lot of my footage of myself and also other YouTubers, and I've noticed one little thing that completely changes the downwards cut. And to put it simply, it's align your elbows. So what do I mean by that? I mean that the elbow has to be in the direction of the motion. Now from the long form, like this, then the elbow doesn't actually do much motion, it's all from the shoulders. And so the elbow doesn't actually matter that much. But once when you shorten it, then the elbow is bent and the elbow straightens out into the cut. And I've talked about this before, but the elbow only has one direction of motion. So it either flexes or it extends. It can't really go anywhere else. It's only got this one line of motion. And so if your arms are like this, and you want to cut, say, this way, then when the elbows extend, they're not going in the direction of the cut. So how you fix that is you pull in the elbow so that when it cuts, it's extending along that line. And so then cutting from here, then I couldn't make my cuts work very well. Sometimes it would cut, but most of the time it wouldn't be a very clean cut. But now cutting with this elbow in, if I'm cutting downwards to the left, or this elbow in, if I'm cutting downwards to the right, made so much of a difference. Now, why would we practice it like this, or as I used to, like this? Well, I think both ways need to be practiced. The way that I was taught martial arts is that you always start with the longer form so that you've got the most power, and then later on then you shorten the form so you've got more speed and more nuance to the form. Now, you may be taught differently, but that's how I was taught, so you'll often still see me practice from cutting from the shoulders with a larger form, but it's not the ideal form to have for every situation. So today then I'll be practicing it with a nice short closed form. And a good drill to start to get used to this is start with a downwards vertical cut, then downwards cut to the left, and a downwards cut to the right. And so we'll start with some of that, and then we'll go to cutting some pool noodles. Alright, so I hope you like that. I think that some people might choose to practice both the long form and the short form, while other people might only practice the short form, and either way, it's up to you. Just as long as you align your elbows with the short form, then you can still have good edge alignment. So, hope you enjoyed the cutting, and hope you enjoyed the short tip. It's not a secret or anything like that. It's just some solid basics that some people forget, and myself included, I didn't know that until after reviewing some footage and watching other people. So I hope you learned something, and with that, I'll see you next time.